sent to aggravate my woe. Crossed all the fair designs I'd schemed. What? I printed the wrong lyrics. That is funny. I'm not singing that. Wow. ask the Lord that I might grow in faith, in love, in every grace, might more of His salvation know, and seek more earnestly His face. 'Twas He who taught me thus to pray, and He, I trust, has answered prayer. But it has been in such a way as almost drove me to despair. I hope that in some favored hour at once He'd answer my request, and by His love's constraining power subdue my sins and give me rest. Instead of this, He made me feel the hidden evils of my heart, and let the angry cries of hell assault my soul in every part. Yea, more with His own hand He seen, intent to aggravate my woe. Crossed all the fair designs I'd schemed, cast out my feelings, laid me low. Lord, why is this, I trembling cry? Wilt Thou pursue Thy worm to death? 'Tis in this way the Lord replied, I answer prayer for grace and faith. These inward trials I employ, from self and pride descending free, and break Thy schemes of earthly joy, that Thou may see Thy all in me, that Thou may see Thy all in me, that Thou may see Thy all in me. I ask the Lord that I might grow in faith and love, in every grace, might more of His salvation know, and seek more earnestly His face. he who taught me thus to pray, and he I trust has answered prayer. But it has been in such a way as almost drove me to despair. I hope that in some favored hour, that once he'd answer my request, and by his love's constraining power subdue my sins and give me rest. Instead of this, he made me feel the hidden evils of my heart, and let the angry cries of hell assault my soul in every part. Absurd amount of hate.
We're gonna do so right before you do doxology. We're gonna surprise Pastor Doug and Nick. Pastor appreciation.
Just Doug? Chuck's not gonna be here.
Chuck, we got something coming up for him next week.
Do you want me to say anything, or like, are you gonna come up?
I'm gonna come up.
Okay. Gotcha. Designs I've seen that you good. Chad, check this out. So this is yeah, I had no idea it sounds like no. Brandon, let me see the slides. That's exactly what I said. I said, I don't know what's worse. This is two things I don't want to sing at 10 in the morning, you know?
Ooh. Good morning. I don't know if Brandon's got me on. Good morning. Welcome. Come on in. Take a seat. Welcome, Redeemer Community Church. We are so glad you are here. I'm going to get us started with a few announcements. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. We are about to have a wonderful Sunday. If you haven't had one already, you're going to. Trust me. All right. So tonight, my youth group, all my teenagers, if you're between the grades 6 and 12, we are meeting here tonight. We are going to have a blast. We've got plans for volleyball and tacos. So come with a full stomach and ready to eat some of my serves because I am really good at volleyball. So watch out. We're going to have volleyball. We're going to have some time in the Word. We're going to have some tacos. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited to see all of you youth with us. Another reminder, on November 1st, we are participating in the Walk for Life. So we've got a couple of people who are walking for life. This is a fundraiser event for a ministry that we support. It's Education for Life. They do wonderful things for our community and for women who are in need, who are experiencing unexpected pregnancy, giving them the tools and the education that they need to live through that and come along and support them through that. And so this is a way that we can support the ministry and support our community in that. So if you are participating in that, awesome. If you need to find somebody to support in that and donate some funds to, I'm sure you can find somebody. There's quite a few people walking. So a good reminder there. Another reminder, on the 26th, so that's next week, if my calendar is right, we are having a congregational meeting here at 5 p.m. So if you are a member, please be prepared to come on in. We're going to be voting on a couple different things. We are also going to be honoring Pastor Chuck and Stacy, so it'll be a good time to spend with them, fellowship, and love on them. There's going to be food there as well, so it's going to be a good time, so put that on your calendar. We are excited to see you there. And I think my last announcement is a reminder of Sunday school. We've got Sunday school starting in January is the plan there. So we're going to have, our plan and our hope is to have things for every age group. So we're going to have things for children, we'll have things for youth, we'll have different things for different adult classes as well. Be prepared to come on in, get ready to start coming on in a little bit earlier because it's going to be 9 o'clock, so get your time adjusted there. My family did that. We came in at 9:55 this morning. Woohoo. So we're going to move it 5 minutes every week. But be ready to come on in early. I also need your help. In children's ministry, I need some volunteers because we are going to be doing multiple things. So if you are interested in volunteer, our curriculum is awesome. It's really easy. I'll teach you how to use it. Our children are fantastic. They are great little learners. They really want to know things. So it's a good time to invest in the next generation. If you want to get involved, please let me know, and I'll hook you up. We'll get going on that. So, and then the last thing is the Bible studies Wednesday nights. Our men's fellowship at Midtown Station, and then our women's Bible study here. Don't miss that. Good time of fellowship together. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Mitch. All right, Redeemer Community Church, a people loved by God before the foundation of the world and called according to his purposes. He's calling and forming a people for himself. And so I'm looking out at the people right now. And will you stand with me this morning for our call to worship from Psalm 100? Our call says, "Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations." So, join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, you are faithful and you are good. Not to one generation, not to two, but to many, to thousands of generations. You are faithful, and your steadfast love endures forever. And so we gather this morning because of your love, because you first loved us, and we gather to praise you and to honor you and to glorify you and to worship you this morning. And so would you be with our hearts? May we offer them to you, and as we do so, only because of what Christ has done for us and for his grace at work in our lives. And so would you receive our worship this morning? Amen. Let's sing.
give life, you are love. You bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love. You bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Oh, the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Oh, the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Oh, the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. So this next song is new to us. It's written by John Newton a long time ago. Couldn't tell you when, can't remember. But I really love this song. Hits me every time I listen to it or hear it. And it's kind of a narrative. It sort of tells a story. Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, try to catch on and sing along. And at the very least, just listen to a great song. I asked the Lord that I might in faith and love in every grace, might more of his salvation know, and seek more earnestly his face. 'Twas he who taught me thus to pray, and he I trust has answered prayer. But it has been in such a way as almost drove me to despair. I hope that in some favored hour at once he'd answer my request, and by his love's constraining power subdue my sins and give me rest. Instead of this he made me feel the hidden evils of my heart, and let the angry powers of hell assault my soul in every part. Yea, more with his own hand he seemed intent to aggravate my woe. Cast all the fair designs I'd schemed, cast out my feelings, laid me low. Lord, why is this, I trembling cry? Wilt thou pursue thy worm to death? 'Tis in this way the Lord replied, I answer prayer for grace and faith. These inward trials I employ, from self and pride to set thee free, and break thy schemes of earthly joy, that thou mayst seek thy all in me, that thou mayst seek thy all in me, that thou mayst seek thy all in me. You guys can have a seat.
Our scripture reading this morning is from Matthew, or the book of Mark, chapter 7, verses 1 through 23. Let's hear the word of the Lord. Now when the Pharisees gathered to him with some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem, they saw that some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled, that is, unwashed. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands properly, holding to the tradition of the elders. And when they had come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash. And there are many other traditions that they observe, such as the washing of cups and pots and copper vessels and dining couches. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands? And he said to them, Well did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. You leave the commandment of God and hold to the tradition of men. And he said to them, you have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to establish your tradition. For Moses said, 'Honor your father and your mother, and whoever reviles father or mother must surely die.' But you say, 'If a man tells his father or his mother, whatever you would have gained from me is Corban, that is, given to God,' then you no longer permit him to do anything for his father or mother, thus making void the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down, and many such things you do." And he called the people to him again and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that by going into them can defile him, but the things that come out of a person are what defile him." And when he had entered the house and left the people, his disciples asked him about the parable, and he said to them, "Then are you also without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into a person from outside cannot defile him, since it enters not his heart, but his stomach, and is expelled? Thus he declared all foods clean." And he said, "What comes out of a person is what defiles him. For from within, out of the heart of man, come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and they defile a person." This ends the reading of God's word. Thanks be to God. This is our word today, the reading of the word today, and it is also a call, serving as a call to our confession, as we see that it is not the outward. It is not the outward things, taste, touch, do not handle. It is not those things that defile, but rather it is the inward, it is the heart. And it is the heart that the Lord looks upon. It is the heart that God sees. And as that song we just sang pointed out, it is the heart that brings forth wickedness. You can cover that up, but when we come into a presence of a holy God, it is Him who sees all. And so when we come and when we hear His word, we must search our own hearts. And so with that in mind, let's confess our sins together before our Almighty God, who is merciful and who is gracious and who calls us to Himself. And so let's confess together. Almighty and most merciful Father, we have strayed from your ways like lost sheep. We have not kept your holy laws. We have left undone those things which ought to have done, and we have done those things which we ought not to have done. But you, O Lord, are merciful. You extend mercy to the brokenhearted and forgiveness through Jesus Christ, our Savior. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Grant us the grace to glorify your holy name. Amen. Now take a moment individually and silently to confess. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for hearing our prayers. Thank you for showing your love, demonstrating your love by sending your Son to us to die for our sins. And because of that, we are able to call upon you for mercy and be forgiven. So we praise you for that and thank you for that. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Now, lift your heads and hear the assurance of pardon this morning from Psalm 103, 11 through 12. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is God's love for those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. And so let's believe that in faith. It is the word of the Lord. And let's continue. Let's sing a hymn to him in response.
If you guys could, let's stand. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. But wholly lean on Jesus' name. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. My anchor holds within the veil. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, he is Lord, Lord of all. His oath, his covenant, his blood support me in the whelming flood. When all around my soul gives way, he then is all my hope and stay. He then is all my hope and stay. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, he is Lord, Lord of all. He shall come, the trumpet sound. Oh, may I then in him be found, dressed in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. Faultless to stand before the throne. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, he is Lord, Lord of all. Christ alone, cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's love. Through the storm, he is Lord, Lord of all.
Y'all can be seated. We now come to our time of kingdom prayer, and there's many things we can pray for, and let's all come and lean in and amen and believe with me as we pray, because God says, bring your burdens to him. So let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, first of all, we glorify you and honor you. We reverence you and we love you. We come to you as a Father, holy and wonderful. And we come to you as children whom you are able to help in our time of need. And so we come to you and we praise you. Hallowed be your name. We pray that your kingdom would come, that your will would be done on earth as it is in heaven, that your will would be done in our hearts, in our minds, in our lives, in our households. Christ, that you would be preeminent over all things, that we would cleave to you as the head, that we would submit to you in all of life. You are a good God. You are a good King. You are a good shepherd, the great shepherd. So we thank you for your care for our lives. We thank you that you are the one who watches over us and cares for us. And we pray that you would be with those this morning in our congregation who are going through trials and going through different things and various difficulties. There's many and some who are not here. Ron and Sally, we pray for them as they are watching from home again this week, unable to come because of sickness. We pray for healing, and we pray for you to be gracious to them and minister to them as they desire to be here but are unable. We thank you for them and pray that you would help to resolve some of those issues that only you can resolve, that you would help them to grow in their faith, strengthen them as they are at home right now, strengthen them even right now while we're praying and while they are watching. I pray for your continued guidance and Pastor Chuck, and thank you for the good news and the good things, but also the ongoing treatments. We pray that you would continue to bring healing and continue to alleviate the issues there, and also with Stacy and her arthritis and other things, that you would just bring relief and help healing to come, and that they would remain strong and trust in you through it. Lord, we pray that your kingdom would come in our lives here, that you would continue to help us to grow and to mature in our faith, our love for one another, and that you would continue to do a work in and among us, that we would also start outreaches that would, the prison ministry that Daryl and Floyd are itching to get involved in and excited about getting involved in. I pray that you would just bless that and help to open doors for that outreach and for that ministry that's very much needed. That they would be built up here, and that more would be involved in that. The Walk for Life and that the Pregnancy Center, and pray that you continue to bless them and help our support for them to go far in saving lives and helping women and helping men as well be fathers to their children. And so, Lord, we pray that you would continue to help us to look outward and not just look inward. Pray that you would advance your kingdom and your gospel. And pray that all the other churches, there's many that usually I name one or two, but I just pray for all the churches who are gathering today in Ocala, that you would bless their worship, bless and strengthen their membership, help them to glorify you, help them to look to your word, help them to solely trust in Christ and preach and proclaim him with boldness and confidence and clarity, so that lost people will come to know you, and that it would go out from Ocala throughout the world, throughout the U.S., throughout Florida, throughout the whole world. We also lift up the many things going on in this world, the conflicts overseas, the things that are happening. We know that you are sovereign. There is no doubt that King Jesus, you reign, and that you are bringing all nations into submission. But there is a sinfulness and a rebellion against you, that because of the sin and wickedness, that's present even in our own hearts, we bring chaos to order when we choose not to be in your way and in your will. And so we pray that for things overseas. We hate war. We love peace. But Lord, you are going to do and you are going to reign as you will. And so we pray that you would bring things to an end in your time. Now, Lord, we look to your word this morning and pray that you would be with our word. Well, first of all, with our giving. We're going to continue our worship in giving, and then we're going to look to your word. And may we come with meek hearts, that you would implant the word in us, and that we might not just be hearers of your word, but doers as well. For it's only by your grace that we're able to do this. And in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Now we're going to continue our worship through giving. All right, children, it's time for the children's sermon. Y'all can come forward. I like how quick y'all are doing that. Being swift to obey is important. When Abraham heard God speak to him in Genesis 22, it says he obeyed swiftly. He quickly obeyed. All right, I've got a passage to read to y'all, and I want y'all to think about fruit. Think about fruit. Think about trees. I answered the question, how do we get fruit? How do we get apples? Trees. Trees produce apples, right? And we eat these apples. So think about this in your mind. Think about as I read. For no tree bears bad fruit, nor, again, does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. Figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor grapes picked from a bramble bush. The good person, out of the good treasure of his heart, produces good, and the evil, out of his evil treasures, produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So do y'all hear that? That there's good and there's bad. And I want to show y'all some pictures. So you're thinking about a tree. Were you thinking about this picture here? Who likes green apples? Yeah, I do. Y'all see over there too? I know you are fascinated with the draw or the coloring thing. But let me ask you something though. Let's see how good y'all are at discerning fruit. All right, I'm going to ask y'all whether or not this is real or fake fruit. I want you to see how y'all can tell. Is this real or fake? Who says it's real? Fake fruit. You're right. That was actually meant to fool y'all, but you're too good. What about this right here? Yeah, that one was a little easier. That was that's plastic. All right. What about this right here? That's real. That's real. I was going to keep going until I fooled somebody. So there's real and there's fake fruit. And I want y'all to think about this. Producing fruit in our lives, that's what it says that God is the judge, the ultimate judge. And he sees the heart, right? He sees the heart. And out of the heart, that's what the verse says here, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so out of the abundance of our heart, bless you, out of the abundance of the heart, we see the fruit, the fruit is produced in our lives. Now, let me ask you something. How silly would it be for me to, if I have rotten fruit on a tree, to cut all the rotten fruit off and put the plastic stuff up there? Right? That would be kind of strange, right? And it would be meaningless. But you know what? It might fool some people, like this one right here. Actually, no, this one right here. Actually, I didn't fool y'all with it, but I thought I would. So it might fool somebody, but ultimately, you're not going to fool God. How is it that we produce good fruit? Is it you just try harder? How do you produce good fruit? You just try harder and obey harder? Eddie? You need the Holy Spirit, right? You need, it is the Lord who is able to change your hearts, because our hearts are wicked. Our hearts, we want to do selfish things. We only think about ourselves. And with the Holy Spirit, though, He changes that heart. And He produces it in us, right? So I want y'all to think about fruit. I want y'all to think about how you produce fruit. And it's only by the help of the Lord and the work of the Lord, because we can actually put up a bunch of plastic on the outside, and we can fake our goodness. We can fake everything. But you're not going to fool God. And that's the most important thing, because He's the one that you should care about the most, right? All right, let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you for each one of these children as they are here and they are hearing your word. Your word is preached every week, and in the homes as well, they hear about you. We pray that you would do a work in each one of their hearts, and that they would not strive harder to produce fruit, that they would not try to put plastic fruit up or just hold up an appearance, but that you would really get a hold of their heart, that they would come to you for mercy and for grace and for your work in their lives. And we pray for that. And we pray for that every day and desire that for them and for us as well. So we thank you for the gospel. We thank you for what Christ has done for us, for all of us. And so I pray that you would help us to dwell on that and think about that and understand it, and that we would store your word in our heart, that we might not sin against you. In Christ's name, amen. All right, see y'all next week. I should have had better pictures. They were good, though. They really caught on. Go ahead, as they're returning to their seats, you can turn to Colossians chapter 2. We're going to continue our series through Colossians chapter 2. So last week we looked at the powerful working of God alone in our salvation. We looked at His work in uniting us to Christ. And we saw that He ultimately, in His finished work, nailed our sins to the cross. He canceled out the record of debt and canceled our sins forever. It was His work and His work alone. Today we're going to see why His work at the cross is completely sufficient. We're going to see why His work at the cross is all we need for our salvation, for our faith, for our practice as Christians. And so chapter 1 was focused on the supremacy of Christ, and then chapter 2 is really focusing on the sufficiency of Christ. And so as we're going to get in today about judging And actually, that's the first point. Let no one judge you, as we're going to read. And one thing is, when we stand for the reading each week, we don't want anything to become some ritual that we just do to do, right? We want to think about what it is to stand. We stand for the honor of the Lord, for his word. We see that in Scripture as well, where people stood for the reading of the word. But I like to think of God as the judge. When a judge enters a courtroom, you stand out of respect. All rise. So when we think about our passage even today, as we are standing, it is standing that God is our judge. He is the one that we stand for. He is the one we live for. He's the one we do anything for. And so this morning, as I ask you to stand for the reading of the word, I want you to think about that. So with that being said, would all stand for God's word being read from Colossians chapter 2, verses 16 through 23. Let's hear the word of God. Therefore, let no one pass judgment on you in questions of food and drink, or with regard to a festival or a new moon or a Sabbath. These are a shadow of the things to come, but the substance belongs to Christ. Let no one disqualify you, insisting on asceticism and worship of angels, going on in detail about visions, puffed up without reason by his sensuous mind, and not holding fast to the head, from whom the whole body, nourished and knit together through its joints and ligaments, grows with a growth that is from God. If with Christ you died to the elemental spirits of the world, why, as if you were still alive in the world, do you submit to regulations? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch, referring to things that all perish as they are used, according to human precepts and teachings. These have indeed an appearance of wisdom in promoting self-made religion and asceticism and severity to the body, but they are of no value in stopping the indulgence of the flesh. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for your word to us. I pray that you would help us to know it, to understand it, to hear it, and to obey it, to believe. Would you grant us faith, grant us grace, and help us to trust fully and completely in Christ Jesus and hold to him as the head. In Christ's name, amen. Y'all can be seated. One of the great preachers of our time, Sinclair Ferguson, wrote a book called The Whole of Christ, where he focuses on the sufficiency of Christ in salvation and in all of life. In commenting on our passage today, the verses in our passage, Colossians 2, 16 through 23, he said that there's a problem when you only preach half of Christ. When you only preach half of Christ, you leave out the fullness. So you leave room when you preach half of Christ, room for us to add to something that is left out. The whole of Christ is what makes you complete in your salvation. It makes you complete in your faith and in your practice. Ferguson also reminded me of something that the actor, comedian Jim Carrey had said at the Golden Globes several years ago. I don't watch the Golden Globes. Just want y'all to know that. But I've seen that's what's the best thing about YouTube is you don't have to watch the whole thing, or you can watch a video clip of something. So in this clip, he's being introduced by the voiceover, the speaker, and it says, please welcome two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey walks out. And he says, thank you. I am two-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey. And then he says, and when I go to sleep tonight, I'm not just any man going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey, going to sleep. And when I dream, I don't just dream as any old guy dreaming some dream. I dream of being 3-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey. And then he says, because then I would be enough. And I would have to stop, I would finally stop the search of what I know will ultimately not fulfill me. So at the very end there, he's being sarcastic and funny, but he's speaking truth. When you are full of yourself, when you're curved in on yourself, you'll never be enough. You will never be complete. That's really the point today, is that Christ is enough. He is enough for your salvation, for your faith, and for your practice. He is sufficient, and there is nothing to search for in the end to fulfill you. The sermon today I've entitled, Christ plus nothing is everything. And what we'll see today is 3 warnings. Christ is enough. Therefore, let no one judge you, let no one disqualify you, and let no one take you captive. Let's begin with the first one. Let no one judge you. Verse 16 says, therefore, let no one pass judgment on you in questions of food and drink, or with regard to a festival, or a new moon, or a Sabbath. Here we arrive at what Paul is building up towards. When he first mentions in chapter 2, verse 4, he first mentions delusions with, don't let anybody delude you with plausible arguments. And then in chapter 2, verse 8, he says, see to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. So don't be taken captive by empty deceit. What is empty deceit? Empty deceit is what is of human tradition, what is according to elemental spirits of the world, and what is not according to Christ. And so if it is not according to Christ, it is empty. But in verse 10, it says this. Paul says, you have been filled with him, who is the head and the rule of all and authority. So if this is true, why are you looking outside of Christ? If this is true, why are you looking for things that are not according to Christ to fill you? Paul is telling them, let no one judge you, which gives us some understanding of how these false teachers were moving. False teachers often judge based on man-made standards, based on extra-biblical rules. They keep an eye on what you're doing, not according to the Word of God, but according to their own standards. The Pharisees criticized Jesus' disciple in his day for not washing their hands before they ate, which that might be nasty, but that's not something to judge someone about, right? So they didn't wash their hands before they ate, which tells you something about them. They're watching. They're watching them. And so they're watching them. They're keeping an eye on them, not to make sure that God's standards are upheld, but to make sure that their own traditions are being upheld. So in Colossae, they were judging people according to questions of food and drink, or with regard to festival, or a new moon, or a Sabbath, and it should say to Sabbaths, because that word is actually plural in the Greek Sabbath, which is important because it's not talking about the fourth commandment. So it's not talking about that. It's talking about particular Sabbaths associated with feast and the different times of year. So these observances and the food and the drink and the festivals, these are clearly in reference to Old Covenant ceremonial laws that were no longer applicable since Christ had fulfilled them. That's what it means in verse 17, where it says, these were shadows, but Christ is the substance. So in the Old Covenant, in the Mosaic Law, the food laws, which come from Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14, these delineated between clean and unclean animals. Some were okay to eat, but others were not okay to eat. And these laws were given with significance of separating Israel as a holy nation from all other nations. So there are many thoughts as to why some were clean, why some were unclean. There's been a lot of debate and stuff written about it. Was it hygiene, pagan idolatry? The animals were associated with unclean because of their hooves touching the ground, and there's been all these things. Don't eat the ones with the split hoofs. And well, I think the most consistent way to think about this is to just say this: just as God, there's a theological point, right? Just as God has chosen Israel out from all the other nations, He's chosen animals for them to eat. He has set apart some as clean and some are not clean. And so Israel is to be holy because God's presence dwells with them. They are a holy people. They are to be a clean people. So God makes them clean, unlike the Gentile nations who are unclean. Well, why don't Christians make that distinction? It's because Jesus removed that barrier. We already read that in Mark chapter 7, where He says it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles you. But then in Acts chapter 10, there's a vision that God tells Peter, or God gives to Peter this vision. And He shows him these unclean animals. He says, rise and eat. Which some people think that validates sushi, because He didn't say rise, cook, and eat. Just rise and eat. But that's not the point. He says, Peter, rise and eat. And Peter says, no, I have not, and nor never would eat of something unclean or common. And God tells him 3 times, what God has made clean, what I have cleansed, do not call common, do not call unclean. And what we see is at the end of this chapter, in Acts chapter 10, that there is a fulfillment in what? In the Spirit being, the Holy Spirit falling upon, being poured out on the Gentiles. And this fascinates Peter, and he says, who can withhold water from them for baptism? They are joining us. They are joining our body. God has shown favor on the Gentiles. And so the barrier has been removed. In chapter 11, Peter actually tells the Jews what happened. And it says they glorified God and they rejoiced, saying, then to the Gentiles also God has granted repentance that leads to life. So this should somewhat inform the way we see these laws in the Old Testament. What were they? They're like a tutor leading us to Christ. And so Jesus dies, the perfectly clean, the perfectly holy, the perfectly spotless Lamb of God. And this breaks the barrier between the clean and the unclean. And so what is forbidden to touch before is now brought near to the very presence of God, made holy by Christ. These feasts and these rituals, these dietary restrictions and the sacrifices were all pointing to Christ, but these were shadows. Hebrews tells us the blood of bulls and goats cannot cleanse you of your sins. And so verse 17 says, these are a shadow of things to come, but the substance belongs to Christ. This tells us that there are certain aspects to God's law that are shadows. And that are meant to lead us to Christ, but Christ is the substance. So in light of Christ's fulfillment, to continue to observe the shadows would be ridiculous. It would actually be almost a rejection of Him. It would certainly be a misunderstanding. Because the substance has arrived, and a common illustration of this would be if a man is deployed in the military and he's away from his wife and his kids. He's away from his family, he misses them, he has these pictures, and so when he goes to bed at night, he kisses these pictures, and he misses them, and then when he gets home, he sees them. So it's the substance. But what if he were to run past them and go to the mantelpiece and grab the pictures of them and start kissing the pictures and hugging the pictures? They're a picture. The substance is right before you. So the coming of Christ, it informs us of who we are and what we do and how we practice religion. It informs us of what rules we hold to. How do we interpret Scripture? There's a popular argument that you might have run into or heard from an atheist or non-believer. You often hear this, where they challenge the moral integrity of Christians, and they say that you're picking and you're choosing. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, they will say that, you use Leviticus 18, for example, and you say it's an abomination for a man to lie with another man. That's an abomination. But y'all accept that passage, but then y'all look at Leviticus 11 and it says don't eat shellfish, but you eat shellfish. And so why do you eat shellfish? What they're doing is they're condemning you for being inconsistent. You're a hypocrite. And they treat this as some knockout argument against Christianity. You pick and choose, which is hypocritical, highly. The truth is that in light of the finished work of Christ, we have to pick and choose to avoid hypocrisy. We have to pick and choose in order to be consistent with what the Scriptures actually teach. We have to pick and choose in order to obey what the lawgiver demands of us. We have to pick and choose. We interpret the laws in the Scripture based on what the lawgiver's intent is. And so when God has shown us in His Word, He has shown us in His Word three primary aspects of the law: the moral, the civil, the ceremonial. The moral law is God's perpetual law that is based on His character. It's given to us in the Ten Commandments. In fact, the only portion of the Torah written by the very finger of God is the moral law, is the Ten Commandments. And the moral law transcends time. It transcends culture. It is to be obeyed, and it is something that is consistent. It is consistent with the character of God. And so when we read in Leviticus 19, even though it's an Old Testament Torah book, we read Leviticus 19 where it tells us not to lie and to love your neighbor. We understand that that is part of God's moral law, and it's perpetual throughout all of time. However, there's also the civil laws that God gave specifically to Israel. So in Deuteronomy 22, for example, where they're commanded to build fences on their roofs. They had flat roofs. They're commanded to build this, but it is not something that applies to all people of all times. They were required to pay temple taxes. These laws expired with the state of ancient theocratic Israel expiring. When the temple was destroyed, that system was over. The third is God gave Israel ceremonial laws, which were related to the temple system, to the sacrifices, to the priesthood, to the observance of different Sabbaths and feasts and festivals. These all foreshadowed Christ. Once the fulfillment came, once the substance came, there was no more need for these rituals and for these sacrifices. And as Christians, it would actually be blasphemous for us to offer sacrifices according to Old Testament law. It would be a blasphemy. We are not obligated. We are actually obligated not to carry out the ceremonial portions of the law. Not because we are only picking and choosing what we like. It is not because of that, but because Christ has fulfilled the law. He is the one, the once and for all sacrifice for our sins. He's the one we trust and rest upon alone for salvation, as He's offered to us in the gospel. So once Christ has come, you no longer need to hold to the shadows. You no longer need to kiss the pictures. The substance is here. It's standing right here, and He is completely sufficient for our salvation, for our faith, and for our practice. And so therefore, let no one judge you in questions of food and drink, or with regard to festival, or a new moon, or Sabbaths. These are a shadow of things to come, but the substance belongs to Christ. The second point is, do not let anyone disqualify you. Verse 18 says, let no one disqualify you, insisting on asceticism and the worship of angels, going on in detail about visions puffed up without reason by his sensuous mind, and not holding fast to the head, from whom the whole body, nourished and knit together through its joints and ligaments, grows with a growth that is from God. So these judgments were carried out to the level of disqualification. So we get an even clearer picture here has entered the church at Colossae, where he says asceticism and the worship of angels, through which you're receiving these visions. You're not focusing on Christ. And they are stunting your spiritual growth. So they're disqualifying them by not getting involved in the spirituality that they are practicing. They were insisting. It was not just okay that they did it. They were insisting that others are involved with it as well. So you want to wash your hands before you eat? Well, do so. But don't insist on everyone doing it, or they are cast out. And so asceticism and the worship of angels, what are these two things? First, asceticism. The word for asceticism, in the Greek, it means humility. It's associated with fasting, humbling oneself in fasting. Asceticism was a form of strict discipline or fasting that was often used to get a vision. And in verse 23, Paul says a little more about it. He says, "These have indeed an appearance of wisdom in promoting self-made religion and asceticism and a severity to the body, but they are of no value in stopping the indulgence of the flesh." One example in our day would be certain religious orders calling for a vow of celibacy. It's mandatory, a vow of celibacy. Like Catholicism, which is weird because, you think that they think the first pope was Peter, and he clearly had a mother-in-law whom he healed. He had a wife, right? But so he was married, but there's a mandatory vow placed on young men who feel called to serve as priest, which is flat out against the scriptures. 1 Timothy 4. It's not just a practice. It's not just non-biblical, it's anti-biblical. If somebody takes a vow of celibacy, that's one thing, voluntarily. It's another thing to mandate it and enforce it. 1 Timothy 4 says, "Some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Such teachings come through hypocritical liars whose consciences have been seared as with a hot iron." What are these people doing? Are they telling others to go out and kill people, right? What are they telling you to do? They forbid to marry. They order them to abstain from certain foods, which God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. For everything God created is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving, because it is consecrated by the word of God and prayer. So these teachings are called demonic, forbidding to marry, and this is an area that men struggle with. So there's a lot of problems here in the Roman Catholic Church, a lot of problems that have surfaced from the priesthood and a cover-up. Being celibate, you're not proving to anyone you're more holy than anyone else. And you're causing certain men who could enjoy the gift of marriage to burn with passion. There's a story of a young monk who is given scribal duty in this monastery, and he starts copying manuscripts, and he keeps seeing variances in the manuscripts, and he keeps taking them back and saying, "Do you have any better ones, any better manuscripts?" So he keeps coming back and saying, "Well, this one's missing these words and this." So eventually he gets the best manuscript, the most well-preserved and kept manuscript with no errors, and he runs out and tells everyone in the main hall, "Hey, look what I discovered. Y'all have to come see this." He says, the R is missing. Come look. And they go in, and he says, "Here, you see the R is missing. It says celebrate, not celibate." I thought that was good, but the point is, marriage should be a celebration. Without the Spirit of God, you can practice the strictest forms of discipline that you can even lock yourself in a room if away from everything else. But what's the problem? Well, Mark 7, Jesus says, "Out of the heart flows wickedness." You're not going to lock that out. Worship of angels, what exactly is that? I'm going to save us some time. I don't know. So we're going to move on to the next part. I'm kidding. I think I know. it's important to understand the magic and the occult in that time and in that day that was pervasive, especially in Colossae. We mentioned the mystery cults, the mystery religions that they had going on. And so there were spiritual rituals, there were amulets that were being worn to protect, there were incantations, there were magical scrolls, which were used to manipulate supernatural power. In Deuteronomy 18, the Bible God condemns mediums, contact with the spiritual realm, superstitious practices, trying to communicate with the dead, witchcraft, and so on. Not because these things are not real, but because they are very much real. In fact, Paul's missionary journey to Ephesus, which is very close in proximity to Colossae, in Acts 19, there is a significant showdown between the forces of darkness and the forces of the Lord, the power of God being on display. And in fact, in the end of, so verse 18 through 19 in Acts 19, it says this: many who had believed came forward confessing and disclosing their deeds. And a number of those who had practiced magic arts brought their books and burned them in front of everyone. When the value of the books was calculated, it came to 50,000 drachmas. That's, I think, several million in our day. It was also the place there in Acts 19 where the 7 sons of Sceva, Jewish exorcists, they were sons of a Jewish high priest, they tried to cast out an evil spirit in the name of Jesus, but the Spirit said to them, Jesus I know and Paul I recognize, but who are you? And so then the evil spirit leaped on them. The man with the evil spirit leaped on them and mastered all of them, overpowered them, and they fled out of the house naked and wounded. And this became known to all the residents of Ephesus, both Jews and Greeks, and fear fell upon them all. And the name of the Lord Jesus was extolled. So angel worship, invoking, naming angels for protection, that's what it probably was, the invoking of their names. There was a tomb in northwest Colossae that is thought to be a Jewish tomb belonging to a Jew. And during the time in the early Christian period, with this inscription, it reads this: I adjure you by God who founded the earth and the heavens. I adjure you by angels, by cherubim, the harmony of Michael, Raphael, and Abrasax, to be averted from injury. So Abrasax, he was a pagan deity that was well known in that time, and he was associated with magic and things like that. Yet he was also invoked not just by pagans, but by Jews. And it's thought this syncretism was coming into the church as well in Colossae. Another inscription, this one was in the 3rd century, that says, Michael, Gabriel, Oriel, Raphael, protect the one who wears this. Holy, 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 flee, O hated one. Solomon pursues you. So you might wonder, where are they getting these names? Where are they getting the names of these angels? We are given Gabriel and we're given Michael in Scripture. But what about Raphael and Uriel and others? Well, during the Second Temple period, between the 5th and... when the Second Temple is built, Solomon's temple is destroyed, and they return to land, they build the temple. So 5th century BC to 70 AD, when the temple is destroyed. During that time, where there is not a writing of God's word, where he is not speaking for 400 years, there's Second Temple literature, like the book of Enoch. There's Wisdom of Solomon. There's other things as well, apocryphal books. Apocryphal means secretive. And so there was this belief that arose that invoking the name of Solomon would drive away spirits. Now, I used to think actually that I knew about this belief, but I used to think that it came from the Old Testament. I thought, well, David, where do we see evil spirits in the Old Testament? David. He played the harp and drove away the evil spirits. So perhaps there's this idea that David and the son of David had this power. That might be true, but there's also in the Wisdom of Solomon, which is a book in the 1st century BC, that there are claims that Solomon has all wisdom and even mysteries. He understands the spiritual realm even, including the power over spirits. And this belief was so common that in Josephus, in Antiquities, in book number 8, he writes this: God also enabled Solomon to learn that skill which expels demons. He left behind him the manner of using exorcisms, by which they drove demons away so that they never would return. So the Testament of Solomon was a sort of a handbook for how to deal with demonic powers, because Solomon had all wisdom, because he had a secret wisdom. Solomon had this wisdom of mysteries. He knew the names of angels, and he would drive away demons. Remember, Paul refers to a mystery. So he says something that all the spiritualists and Gnostics were obsessed with. There were all these mystery religions, people obsessed with this hidden wisdom. And so Paul says, he's kind of like, I'll show you a mystery. You want to hear mysteries? You like mysteries? I'll tell you a mystery. Here it is, Colossians 1:26, the mystery hidden for ages and generations, but now is revealed to his saints. To them God has chose to make known the great among the Gentiles are the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Him we proclaim, warning everyone and teaching everyone with all wisdom, that we may present everyone mature in Christ. And then in chapter 2 he says, all the riches of full assurance of understanding and all of knowledge of God's mystery, which is Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. So stop looking to Solomon. You have Christ. Stop calling upon angels. You have Christ. Stop looking to magic and to rituals and to smoke and to incantations. You have Christ. Stop praying to the saints to protect you. You have Christ. And all the wisdom you need is in him. So while you're looking to Solomon for wisdom to deal with your issues, while you're looking outside to look for someone to deal with your ailments and with all your fears, it is Christ who came and he healed the sick. It is Christ who came and he cast out the devils. It is ultimately his death that by dying for our sins and rising again from the dead, he dealt with every problem that we have. So there's nothing to fear. And so if you have Christ and nothing, you have everything. Stop being curved in on yourself, because you'll never be enough. That third Golden Globe issue, it won't be enough, and you know that, because you'll still die in your sin. But if you have Christ, you have everything, because all wisdom, all knowledge is contained in him. So you need him, the whole of Christ, who is offered to us. It's the whole and not the half. And so he is everything you need, sufficient for your salvation, sufficient for your faith, sufficient for your practice. Do not let anyone disqualify you. And the third thing is, let no one take you captive. Verse 20 says, if with Christ you have died to the elemental spirits of the world, why, as if you were still alive in the world, do you submit to regulations? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch, referring to all things that all perish as they are used according to human precepts and teachings. So if you've died with Christ, and you're alive with Christ, then you're dead to the world. So why act as though you're alive to the world? If you're dead to something, it means you don't interact with it. In our day, we have this saying that you say someone is dead to you. What does that mean when you say that? Well, he's dead to me. It means you're done with this person. So if he's dead to you, why'd you invite him to the family cookout? If he's dead to you. If you've died with Christ to the elemental things of the world, then why are you still acting as though you are still alive to the world? Why are you submitting to regulations? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch. Romans 14 says this. Verse 17 says, the kingdom of God is not eating and drinking, but righteousness and joy and peace in the Holy Spirit. You see, righteousness, joy, and peace is an everlasting thing. They are eternal things, but eating and drinking is perishable. It's temporal. That all perish as they are used. Verse 23 here says, these have indeed an appearance of wisdom in promoting self-made religion and asceticism and severity to the body, but they are of no value in stopping the indulgence of the flesh. The life that we lead as Christians, the fruit of the Spirit that is produced in our lives, is not outward focused. It's not having an appearance of wisdom, but the appearance of things is often what we get concerned with. And why is that? Well, it's because Satan's very crafty, and he knows us. He knows the fleshly things that appeal to us. He knows that we are prone to pride, to self-made religion, to self-gratifying, self-fulfilling rituals and rules. It's the deception of self-righteousness that is the danger. Because there's nothing wrong with having a clean diet, with living a clean life, with having discipline in your life, with having a stricter habit towards prayer so you don't neglect prayer. There's nothing wrong with that. So all these things are not bad, but are you judging others based on your standards, based on your rules? In the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector in Luke 18, it's one of the best parables, one of my favorite. Jesus addresses this very thing. He says this, 2 men went up into the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee, standing by himself, prayed thus, God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes to all I get. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even lift his eyes to heaven, but beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. And Jesus says, I tell you, this man went down to his house justified, rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. So notice this, that the Pharisee wasn't really doing anything wrong with fasting. That's fine. He was actually in the temple praying. He was thanking God. He was tithing. But the problem is his contempt that he had in his heart towards the tax collector. And he had this contempt for this tax collector because he felt justified with his outward obedience. Inwardly, though, his heart was wicked, whereas the tax collector knew that he was unworthy. He knew that his only hope was in God and in his mercy, and so he cleaved to Christ. Legalism is not seeking to obey God and to live a life in obedience to his word. That's not legalism. That's just simply what we're called to do. Right? Jesus says, if you love me, you obey me. If you love me, obey my commandments. What are the commandments? Summary? Love. Love God and love others. That's what we're called to do. That's our duty. So that's not legalism, but rather legalism is seeking to establish your own righteousness based on outward conformity to the law. It is like you have this picture of the gospel where you only have half of Christ. You have half of him, so you have to finish the work. And there is always going to be more to be done. There's always going to be a sense that it's not enough yet. It's not enough. It's like seeing fruit that is rotten in your life and trying to address it by pulling off all the rotten fruit and putting up plastic fruit in its place just to keep the appearance, just to keep up the appearance before others. But the issue is not the fruit. The issue is the root, right? The issue is the root. And so the tax collector understood this, that the root of the situation was his heart. The root of the situation was his sinfulness, and he knew that he could not fix that. And therefore, he's desperate for God and for his mercy. And last week we saw in great detail that God is the one who moves. God is the one who acts. God is the one who circumcises. God is the one who cleanses. God is the one who gives us this baptism that is not made with human hands. It is him who does this work in us. And so he is the only one who is able to change the root. He is the only one who is able to address the real issue and our problem. And it's an interior, it's a spiritual thing that must be done. And my prayer is this morning that we would all understand and recognize that we must humble ourselves before God and cling to him as the head, to him alone, as the only one who justifies. It is only then, when you understand that, it is only then that you have the picture of the whole Christ, where you can say, if I have Christ plus nothing, well, that's everything. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for your assurance. Thank you for your many blessings and many graces that you pour out on us so freely and so richly. And we thank you for your mercy that is extended to us through Christ and through what he did for us. I pray that we would see that we would all see that in our own lives and in our own hearts, that we are desperate for you, for your work. There's nothing we can do to earn your favor. There's nothing we could do to draw your attention upon us in a salvific way. There's nothing we can do, which is why we need the whole of Christ. And I pray that we would understand that we would embrace that as he has offered to us. Give us faith to do so. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. We are now going to just making sure me and Dominic were on the same page. I didn't want him to start singing a song while we're trying to do something else. We're now going to take the Lord's Supper. Before we do that, we'll say the creed. But you have it in your bulletins, right? So, but before that, I want to say some words about the Lord's Supper before we actually say the creed together. And we are going to take these elements, the bread and the wine. These are signs and seals of God's promises to us. They represent spiritual blessings that we enjoy by faith. And it actually came up in our new members class, which we had our last class today. And in the end, we were talking about the Lord's Supper, and Dan brought up, doesn't it also point to this? Doesn't it also point to the future? And the truth is, yes, the sacraments are like diamonds that you can turn and you can see different angles. Different light can shine on it in a different way, and you see the different meanings to it. There's so much depth. It's kind of like the gospel is such a simple truth, but there's so much depth to it, and you can see it in a different way when you just think about one aspect of the gospel. You can dwell on it for 5 minutes, and that can turn into 50 years and 100 years and eternity. So just like that, we look at the bread and the wine, the water, or the body and the blood, and we understand that is Christ giving himself to us, that it was his sacrifice. It was for the cleansing of our sins. It was for the joining us together. It was a mystery how we are united to him, how we are brought into union with him, how we are actually fed in faith by Christ. He says, feed upon me. And really, that's what it's his challenge in John 6 is this. Is there anything else that is satisfying you other than me? And are you misunderstanding that you need something else? And some say, yes, we're actually feeding, this is your body in transubstantiation. They'll get into all these other things, but he's really saying, come to me and feed upon me. And he is all the spiritual nourishment that you need. And so there is this idea of union, this mystery where we're caught up with Christ in heavenly places. Ephesians 2:6 says we're seated with him in heavenly places. Ephesians chapter 5, Paul talks about our union with him being a mystery, like the two being one in the marriage. And so it points forward, as Dan was saying, it points forward too. It points back, it points to now, and it points forward in the future to the marriage supper of the Lamb, where where faith becomes sight. And so these elements, these are meant to be taken and for our faith to be strengthened. These are means of grace by which we are strengthened as the body. It's not a mere remembrance of Christ, but there's so much more going on. And so we would like to say that this is not our table, it's not Redeemer's table or the PCA. It is the table of the Lord. And you are invited, if you profess your faith in Christ and have made a public profession or a member in good standing of an evangelical church, you're welcome to come partake. If you have not yet professed your faith and you have not yet decided that you belong to Christ, or you want to belong to Christ, or you want to talk to somebody about that, we'd love to talk to you about it, but we would ask that you would refrain from taking the Lord's Supper. But we would tell you the words of Jesus are this: come to me, all ye who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And so now, as we come, we're going to say the creed together, and then we're all going to come forward and take. So, last week it was up here, this week it's in here. It helps when you have the right bulletin. So the Apostles' Creed, I'm going to ask you, Redeemer Community Church, what do you believe? I believe in God the Father Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived of the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. The third day he rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty, whence he shall come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting. Amen. All right, y'all can stand and come and just hold on to the elements, and when I give the words of institution, we'll all partake together. Thanks, Floyd.
Father, for thy promised blessing, still we plead thee for thy throne, for the times of sweet refreshing, which can come from thee alone. Blessed earnest thou hast given, but in would not rest. Blessings still with thee are hidden. Pour them forth and make us blessed. Prayer ascendeth to the ever. Answer, Father, answer prayer. Bless, oh bless, past each weak endeavor, blood-bought pardon to declare, wake thy slumbering children, wake them and bid them to thy harvest and go. Blessings, oh our Father, make them round their steps, let blessings flow. No people be forgotten. Let thy showers on all descend, that in one loud blessed anthem millions may triumph and give reviving, give refreshing, give the looked for jubilee to thyself may crowds be pressing, bringing glory unto thee.
The Lord Jesus, on the same night he was betrayed, he took the bread, and having given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take, eat, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same manner, he took the cup. Having given thanks, he gave it to his disciples, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. Drink from it, all of you."
So, before we do the doxology, Floyd is going to say some stuff.
Can you hear me? Well, I know here in the Presbyterian world, we got to do things decently and in order. So I apologize ahead of time to interrupt this service. But Doug, if you can come up here, and Megan. This month is Pastor, Appreciation Month, and I know that you recently, became my pastor, and falling behind the great Pastor Chuck, and we got some things lined up for him later this month too. But we just want to make sure we take the time to show our appreciation for you. For Megan, as well as your family and your kids. They've stepped up, helped out a lot. And one thing, as we can all see, that we don't have a woke pastor. We have someone that, we laugh about it, but it's starting to, you're starting to see more and more of pastors that's getting away from the Word of God, that's trying to fit in with the world. And we've been blessed to have, Pastor Chuck, who just recently retired, that preached straight from the Word of God. Now, as you can witness, and have you seen today, we have Doug, who's really loved the Scriptures. I mean, from the men Bible study, and as you can see him now going really in detail, in depth, teaching us. And we really, appreciate you, and appreciate your wife, appreciate your family. And we love you, and we're happy to have you, here with us. And so the church kind of got together, and we signed a card for you. There are some gift cards in there, as well as threw in something extra. South Carolina Gamecocks hat there for you. All right, so I figure you'll love that. I'm working on you to become a Gator fan one day. But I guess we had to go ahead and give that to you. It could be worse. It could have been Florida State.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
For a second, I thought that was what it was. It was confusing.
All right. Well, so we just want to take the time to just say thank you, and we love you both. All right.
All right, now if you guys would, let's rise and sing the doxology. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above ye heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
Well, I would put my Gamecock hat on, but the way they played yesterday, that would be sacrilegious to do so. I would receive the benediction. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. Amen.
How old am I? 22.